Happy Tuesday, fam. I am Val Jean, and this is my world, at least the way I see it. And I'm still having trouble with this anyway. If you are if you are happy with the current administration, please keep scrolling. This is not the channel for you. If you are not happy and you want something that you can actually do about it, come on in, pull up a seat, get a pencil and a piece of paper because we do have homework and we're going to let our voices be heard. We have fam here already. Welcome to my new subscribers. Welcome to my returning subscribers. And if you are catching the replay, yay, Team Replay. I appreciate you. I really do. Dinky Jen is here. How you doing? How are things across the pond? Miss Victoria is here and she will be lurking today. That is okay. Dinky Jen's doing okay. Very chilly outside. It's chilly here. It was nice and mild this afternoon, but not now, nearly 9 p.m. And she's asking Victoria how she is. And she says, right, I keep forgetting you're ahead by like 5 hours. Oh, that's right, because you're Eastern time. Okay. It's cold here. My headache is doing better and holding my own. That is awesome. And we're both glad that you're feeling better. Victoria says she's not sure not sure if my headache now is from this yarn ball that was wound right or my cold. That wasn't wound right or my cold. Probably both. Probably a combination. Jen says she hopes it's not your yarn. And Victoria says it just might be. I bet Victoria is working on her sweater. Let's see. Well, untangling the yarn from my sweater. Yay, me. Look at me. Acting like I know something. You might need to turn your mic sound up. Who, me? You cannot hear me? Hold on. Let's see what's happening here. Uh, is that better, Jen? Does that sound better? Because I'm trying not to blow out your earbuds. I feel like that man on the commercial. Can you hear me now? Not really. Okay, let's see what's happening. Uh, I'm talking amongst yourselves while I try to figure out what the heck. Okay, I'm going to have to speak louder because I've turned the volume up on the mic all the way, not moving the bars up. But can you hear me? She says, not really. Everyone, and the volume went down after you fixed it. Oh, have mercy. Oh, there I go. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay. I have to, because I went in it and I boosted it up and it's still just down there. I don't know what is better than before. Okay. Laying down and just finished going through emergency kit just in case the weather gets bad. Ooh. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, great. I had to go out and play with the buttons and come back in because all of the buttons that I could play with from here weren't doing any good. Um, we got craziness going on in the world. And I got one little bit of homework that I just learned from Reese. So thank you all for being adaptable for me moving the time back an hour. There is $8 million allocated to pay influencers to defend ICE. That's not what I pay my taxes for. $8 million for influencers. Now, if I wanted to defend ICE, I could get some money to defend ICE instead of putting it into the programs that we need. So I'm going to be writing to the people yet again. And I forgot what the current bonus is for the ICE agents to be hired because they get a sign-on bonus. That is not why I pay taxes. So that is number 2. And yes, prayers for Roberta. But if I didn't have things to do over here, I'd be laying down too. I've been ordering bags because I don't have bags big enough. So I've been measuring and I've been ordering bags because yeah, no, I can't. There's only a couple of things that I can send out with the bags I have, so it's gonna be a little delayed. I'll put a post on the other channel because yeah, I'm not unhappy. I just didn't have supplies for it. Roberta says, thank Dinky, no problem. May not need it, but better to have and not need than to need and not have. That was my mother's saying. It really was. You're kind of glad you live in Canada. Girl, I'm glad you live in Canada. And if you all weren't so cold, I might move up there, but I don't like the cold. It's cold enough down here in the Midwest. Yeah, no, but we only have a few more years. Roberta says the sale was fun yesterday. I had a good time, and I want to thank everybody because I sold everything that I had set up here to sell. Now I got to get it boxed up, weighed, measured, invoiced, and out of here so that I can price for the next sale. But yeah, this was a good time. It really was a good time. Pebbly Pooh, hello, sweetheart. How you doing? Crystal, hey, the hell? Why not just improve the immigration system? Oh, yeah, that doesn't fit the well of right. See, yes. There is so much more they could do with $8 million besides trying to take over Venezuela and messing with Greenland or somebody else they were messing with. But all of this is a distraction from the Steen files. If he keeps up enough turmoil, everybody's distracted from the files. And they had said that he was in Minneapolis because it's a blue state. He's in Minneapolis because he is still mad that Tim Walz had the nerve to run against him and Shady. He's still mad. So this is retribution for Tim having the nerve to actually stand up to him. That's what this is. This is not about the Somalis and the Muslims and anybody else. This is that he's mad. Dinky says, I'm glad I live in the UK, even though we have our own problems too. Everybody has their problems, but it's just not. But I have to commend everybody that they have not stood up and done mass rioting because they know he's trying to get the military in. And right now, he's got no cause to send in the military. And the courts have already told him that he can't do that. But what does he care? And the sign on bonus is 5,000. Oh, it's 5,000? Okay. Because I couldn't remember. I had the 5, but I was thinking 50. And I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, you get a sign-on bonus to terrorize Americans. With 3, though, sign-on bonus is 5. Though with 3, though, G. What? I'm sure you'll clean that up and explain that to me later because I think that is a continuation of this, and I understood this until I got down to here. And Dinky saying hi to everybody. Victoria says, I mean, like Jen, we have our problems, but yeah. Um, oh, with him messing with Greenland again. Is it Switzerland? Sweden has joined Norway in defending Greenland. And somebody said, I thought the Swiss were neutral. And I'm like, but the Swiss aren't in Sweden, they're in Switzerland. But yeah, the Swiss are neutral, but Sweden has joined with Norway, and they're like, yeah, no, no, you cannot have Greenland. You cannot mess with Greenland. You got to go. Roberta says, for reaching quota. Oh, it's 5 to sign on and 3 for reaching quota. Shit. That's $8,000. And you know what? There is so much more we can do with that money. That's 3 letters right there. Ooh, Pebble says, y'all, just coming back inside from the frozen tundra. Look, I've got dressed to do the live, and I have to go put on my coat just to open the garage door to remotely start my car. And I'm going to put on my coat because I want to make myself go out into the garage and get some fish for dinner. But it's too cold. I've got a steel garage door. And unless I open the door, sometimes the remote ricochets off that door and it doesn't start the car. Deneen, Happy New Year's. Good to see you. We have the most well-spoken. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I love your new Prime Minister. I do. I love him. And I like your podcaster, Naughty Nana does. She's funny. She's good too. But yeah, I agree with you, Deneen. I like your new Prime Minister. He's really good. And he takes no guff from 47, which is a beautiful thing. Roberta says, if only they could work out a bill to fix immigration. That would be wonderful. But, well, no. Remember, no, they had one. Remember, they had a bipartisan bill. 47 would not let them vote on it and pass it because he wanted to use that for the campaign. They had a bill. He wouldn't let them pass it. Mm. I wonder if we could get them to resurrect that bill and vote on it now. That's the only thing with me having two Republican senators. I don't have anybody who would stand up against them because they're both as crooked as he is. I just put it out there. And my poor one Democratic congressman is still a freshman congressman. He doesn't have the experience for anybody to listen to him, and the Dems still don't have the numbers. But since it was a bipartisan, I don't know, since it was a bipartisan bill in the first place, what do you think the likelihood is that they would come together and vote for it and pass it? Because they had it. He said no, because he wanted to use it for the campaign. Victoria says, yeah, the guy just wants literal ice from Greenland. Chris, welcome in. Good to see you. How are you? Yeah, we got a fellow Canadian in the house. Where's my little Australian? Where's my little Sam? I probably wore her out yesterday. They introduced something to invoke the 25th. Oh, Jesus. I hope they vote that down because yeah, no, I'm not any okay. We'll just put it out there and make it automatic. Anybody who votes for that, they're out. Pure and simply out. Mm-mm. Got to go. Got to go. No, the 25th is where they boot him out. Right, wait a minute. No, the 25th is where they boot him out. Yay, us. Because I was thinking it was the one that was going to give him a third term. Brain is tired. You all know how I am with numbers. Let me go see. They got so many things that they're doing. Oh, here. We'll do this together. Yeah, because Al Green tried to get that done before and they voted it down. Okay, make sure you all can see this. No, you can't. StreamYard, be nice. There we go. Okay. The 25th clarifies presidential succession and disability, stating the vice president becomes president if the president dies, resigns, or is removed, and outlines procedures for filling VP vacancies. Now, see, that's the problem I'm having. Because if we get rid of 47, then we get Shady. How is that any better? I'm all in favor of getting rid of 47, but I'm not in favor of Shady taking over because Shady is being backed by Peter Thiel, remember? Oh my God. Sign-on bonus is up to 50K and student loan repayments to 60K. Mm. Mm. Seriously, Crystal? So I was right when I had the 50K. But you all know how I am with numbers. And they get their student loan. Oh, shit. The Swiss haven't been neutral for a while. Oh, they haven't? Okay. Chris says, right, Pebbles. Oh, wait. I skipped Pebbles. Sorry, Pebbles. You moved. The only thing he can't do is think or mind his business and get out of politics. Oh, he's not even in politics. He's on a revenge tour. That's all this is a revenge tour. He is a petty little man. Roberta says, DC, I will have to research that because I thought I had heard 50,000. That's why I wouldn't say it because I was confused. Victoria says, I was supposed to go out for dinner with friends tonight. It's too cold. I made modified chili mac because I didn't have any chili up here and I didn't feel like going downstairs. And so I just used tomatoes and beans and put it over spaghetti and called it a day. Sweden joined NATO, so they will defend Denmark. Okay, yeah, that's why Sweden has joined Denmark. We're just making a mess of the whole thing. Chris said, "What was going on this AM with Mexico, or do I need to go back and replay?" Yeah, you need to go back and replay because I haven't heard anything about Mexico. I heard that Nicki Minaj was talking smack about Don Lemon, and he had to go and defend himself. Uh, what did I do? Oh, the $8 million that they are paying, that they have slotted for to pay influencers who defend ICE. And that's all I've heard this morning. I hadn't heard about Mexico. Oh, I heard about Greenland, but I hadn't heard about Mexico. So tell us about Mexico. Roberta says, that's what I meant on the bill. I was being sarcastic. Crystal says, here is where I pulled the info, Roberta. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. ICE received more 200,000 applications join ICE law enforcement help remove worse. They are the worst. Oh my God, they are the worst. They really are. Chris says, Roberta, sarcasm, never. Roberta says, NATO troops arrived in Greenland this morning. Did they? Oh, never, Chris. Chris, I never saw Mexico this morning, but I could have missed it. Yeah, I didn't see it either, so do tell. I'm still scrolling and trying to find out what I missed. Roberta says 25th Amendment, Section 7, Paragraph 4, I think, says if circumstances are correct, the whole cabinet goes. There is a good and gracious God. I don't know about anybody else, but I think these circumstances are correct because all we have here are TV personalities and crooks. We don't have a one that is qualified. So, yeah. But we don't have the numbers. Until we do midterms, we don't have the numbers. And the Republicans aren't going to kick them out because they're afraid. They don't want to be primary. They don't want to get a real job. Crystal says, imagine if they had the same gusto in recruiting ICE agents, but instead trying to recruit good teachers. Good teachers, good cops. Because you know he purged the database of the cops that were being investigated for cruelty and whatnot. He wiped that database. So yeah, if we had good immigration officers, just throw out the ICE, and good police, we'd have a better world. We really would. I agree, Crystal. Victoria says, I was looking forward to going to a new restaurant to try it, as this past weekend was their grand opening. Oh. Well, you give them a little time to get established, and it might be better. Roberta says, but Crystal, that would create free thinkers. Oh, oh, oh my goodness. Yeah, it would. It really would. That's so funny. Yeah, this is really sad. I didn't ever think I'd live long enough to see something like this happen. This is craziness. Give me just a second. I'm trying to find my grandchild. Okay. I don't know if she's coming here or not, but I see the bus. We'll find out. I might have to run and unlock the door because I didn't unlock the door because I don't know if she has cheer or not. Get back up here to Roberta. Okay, Crystal says, very true, Roberta, and that cult hive is soon to weaken, I believe. I hope so. Because they have all partaken of the Kool-Aid. And immigration uses AI to screen applications. What? So if it says officer in the application, it sets them on a fast track. Oh my. Oh my. Well, yeah, because MAGA can't read. I'm just saying. Yeah, because he had to cover up his soon-to-be ICE agents, the scrub. Well, half, a lot of the ICE agents are J6ers. My helper was watching details. We'll have to wait on his synopsis. Okay. Oh, you didn't hear it while he was watching? Okay, AP News article, Mexico, U.S. Trump cartel members. Garcia. Oh, Garcia? Okay, thank you. I will have to go listen to that later. Okay, there's the bus. Do I have a baby? Oh, good thing. Virginia now has majority Democrat leadership. I think everybody voted for Democrats except Tennessee. Tennessee is the only one that got a Republican that I have seen so far. Sam, there you are. Good morning. I had just said I probably wore you out because I was looking for you a few minutes ago. I am gobsmacked about the whole situation, girl. I was so happy we moved this back so I could see Reese because I had not heard of the 8 million. I am just blown away. Yeah, that's not what I pay taxes for. That is really not what I pay taxes for. Pebble says something about sending cartel members from Mexico. Um, wasn't the whole premise of having ICE was that we were sending the criminals out of the U.S.? Now we're bringing the criminals into the U.S.? What the hey? Camille, welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. What's going on in your part of the country? Pebbles, that first it was Trinde Aragua. They wanted to get all of them out of the country. They wanted to get all of the illegal immigrants out of the country. Now they're going to bring the cartel into the country. The cartel who actually run the drugs. Help me, Father. Chris, I will not admit to sarcasm. Sam says, I'm waiting for him to declare that the U.S. owns the moon and therefore he can blow it up if Greenland doesn't comply. Oh, no, no, no. He's going to say he owns Mars because Ilanya wants to set up a little commune there. Help me, help me, help me. How many irrational people can we put in one place and let them lead? Doesn't anybody else see that this does not make any sense? None, not even a little bit. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, Sam, he already wants the moon. Sam, we did plant the flag first, so. Working and lurking today. MAGA be cray cray. Same BS, different day. Oh, so you got the same thing going on down there? Sheeshas. My dear darling cousin Michelle told me they have the frozen people wandering around her part of the city. They have not made it up to my part of town yet. And I'm surprised because we're a red state. I forgot. I'm a blue city. I thought I would be skipped over since I'm in a red state, but apparently not. Crystals. Sounds like a trash truck, but that's not supposed to be until tomorrow because we had a holiday yesterday. They're off schedule. Crystal says, I did hear Trump refer to the boulevard about 3 times, and he was meaning border, referring to Mexico. Oh, that's right. He was giving a talk while I was listening to Reese. And I opted for Reese over 47 because he just grates on my nerves. Roberta says Tennessee had to make a law that says you can't marry your first cousin, so I'm not sure they're saleable right now. Crystal, do you have a rebuttal to that? I know up until I think it was the 60s, we had to get a blood test before we could marry to make sure that you weren't too closely related. Pebble says, I know, insanity. Oh yeah, this is beyond madness. I guess she's got cheer. I don't see a little short person. Okay. Glad I didn't unlock the door because I would forget to lock it. I have I have been here all night with the door unlocked because she didn't come home and I forgot to go lock it because I didn't have to go let her out. It's not a good thing. Roberta says maybe he needs to go to Mars to inspect his new property. That's what I want. I would vote for that. I would vote for that. I would even give money for that. That is the trash man. Don't you all know? Okay, maybe they didn't take yesterday off. They should have. I don't know. Chris says only those not in positions of powers can see the cray cray. Is that it? Oh. Well, I'm glad I've never been in power then. Crystal says, hey, I'm from Tennessee. Be nice and speak slowly. She's laughing her ass off. We ain't Alabama. Well, see, that's why I asked I was giving you equal time to speak. I was giving you equal time. Because we don't pick on any one person. We can have a dialogue. And I did not realize you had You had to pass the law, and we had to have a blood test. Roberta says, Crystal, you are an exception to the rule. I second that. Pebble says, the others only see dollar signs. Oh my God. Yeah, we're still fighting the war of the haves versus the have nots. And the have nots are losing. Victoria says, I'm drinking more of that apple cider ginger cranberry tea from the mother in law. Okay. Now you reminded me that I hadn't made any. See, Victoria. Oh, what's going on in Georgia? Did they not pass the law and they should have? They were doing something in Atlanta last week. I don't remember what though, because I didn't write it down. Hi, Susan. You're listening and driving again? Okay, I'll try not to get too crazy because I don't want you running off the road. And thank you for listening. Uh, Georgia law of consent is 10. The age of consent is 10. Holy smokes. 10? A 10-year-old can't give consent? Oh, Lord Jesus. Mm. Mm. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Crystal says, I am embarrassed of my state. They know better than this BS. See, I'm embarrassed. I don't understand. Again, all this does is show us who the bigots actually are. We don't have to wonder. I wonder if that person is racist. Now we know, without beyond the shadow of a doubt. Uh, it is. It is. Well, that's why 47 loves them, because he's all for that. Or as Christina Talks T says, Daddy Dumpy Pants. The day I heard that, I said, explain. Oh, Roberta. Oh, Roberta. Oh, Roberta. Victoria says, I wonder how many high school friends who live in Arizona is doing good. How? I wonder how my high school friend who lives in Arizona is doing. Why? Because of Turning Point USA or because of something else? Help me out here, Victoria. I don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, Chris, she is right. Roberta says, oh no, 47. Cutoff age is 12. Did 47 say 10 and the age is 12? Camille says lowest age of consent in any state is 16. I know it's 16 here. Okay, let's ask Mr. Google. Oh, Mr. Google says it's 16. February, wait a minute, where's my thing here? February 2025, the About Law Firm, Georgia law sets the age of consent at 16. This means that individuals aged 16 or older are legally considered capable of consenting to sexual, yeah, we know. What state has the 13th age of consent? Huh. Well, Camille, it says here Ohio is 13, Oklahoma is 16. They don't know about Oregon. Pennsylvania is 13. Who put this together? Doesn't say. Age of consent in the United States is 16 in 30 of the states. Oh, now you're going to give me a big old map. Okay. Okay. By authority, it's 16, 17 in Illinois, unrestricted 18, 17, 19. By age, 14 in Arkansas, 14 in Colorado, 13 in Connecticut, 16 in Delaware and Florida, 14 in Hawaii, Indiana, and Iowa. Mercy. Let me scroll. Iowa, and you went too far, BJ. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Iowa. 16 in Kentucky, 14 in Maine and Maryland, 13 in Minnesota, 14 in Missouri. Ooh, really? Used to be 16. Okay. We don't have a by authority, and it's 17 unrestricted. Mercy. Let's 13 in New Hampshire, New Jersey, and New Mexico, North Carolina, 15 in North Dakota, 13 in the Northern Mariana Islands. I did not know that was part of our territories. And Ohio, 16 in Oklahoma, 13 in Pennsylvania. 14 in Rhode Island and South Carolina, 13 in Tennessee and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Uh-oh, D.C. 16 in Utah, 15 in Vermont and Virginia. Well, who knew? That's disturbing. That is disturbing. People been changing laws behind our backs. Victoria says, I just meant with all this stuff going on. Oh, okay. Camille says it's 17 here. Okay. Roberta says, Camille, you're correct. I looked it up right now. That statement was from a few years ago. Pebble says, and you wonder who kept those laws on the books. I know. Victoria says, I mean, she would do well in debates as she is stubborn, but still sucks. All we can do is all we can do. Leslie, welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. How are you? What's going on in Cali? Camille says, when they're saying 13, they're talking about Romeo and Juliet laws. Chris says, is this the first time we run into AI compiled lists? Well, this is Wikipedia, the list I just read, and it has footnotes on here. Well, we know Wikipedia has people putting things in and taking things out. But I think it's people generated, isn't it? Follow the footnotes. Or I guess you could actually go to the state page and see what their laws are. Crystal says, I am curious about the child bride laws because I know that cults like old fashioned things and looking to bring it back more. Yeah, it is. They are. They do. And don't they think we evolved for a reason? I mean, if that was really what was best for the population, why do they think we changed it? Leslie says, definitely. Pebble says, this is a sick girl. You know what? It's not the country. It's the people at the top. If we could get rid of the people at the top, the country is okay. It's the bigot in chief, or the bigot in charge, who is releasing all the bigotry in the country instead of having them suppress it like they were doing. But now he's making it free. Oh yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. And so like they're like, oh yeah, we got this. Yeah, no. I think if we could clean up the top, the bottom would clean up itself. Or they would go back in the closet or back underground. Yeah, they need to stay underground. They don't need to be out in the light. Crystal says, I am not surprised with our age, as I had a few friends in school who had babies at 14 when I was in school. Oh, I had one who was 15. Everybody else, I believe, waited until we graduated. But like my ex-mother-in-law and one of her granddaughters both had children at 14. 14, I wasn't thinking about having no babies. I was like Miss Lady on Gone with the Wind. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies, Miss Scarlett. Roberta says VJ 12 was the age. 47 said he wouldn't go below in an interview with Howard Stern. I remember that now. I remember that now. I had forgotten because up until recently, I paid him zero attention because he irked my nerves even before he was in politics. You're fired. Leslie said, had my interview today, basically told me I got it. Yay! 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 Now I'm crossing my fingers that you can get together and get your own place. I'm so happy for you. Camille says, gotcha. Oh, that's exciting, Leslie. Pat yourself on the back. I am so happy for you. I am so happy for you. You get your own place. And I know things are expensive out there in Cali, but girlfriend, I know. Camille says, hubby says even if we got rid of people in the top, new ones will replace them, and power corrupts. Power does corrupt. Power does corrupt. And I know she had problems, and my brother lived out in Cali. He wasn't really a big fan of Kamala, but I still would rather have tried living under her regime than the one we have now. I would have given her a chance. I really would have. And I think things would have turned out at least more even if she were in power. But that's just my take on things. But I know I live in an alternate universe, but I really had high hopes that she would accomplish everything that she said she wanted to do. Because I knew 47 wasn't going to do anything good for anybody that looked like us. Roberta says the age of consent laws were left on the books when people weren't living as long. Oh, yeah, well, there is that. Yeah. But part of the age of consent laws was that women were having babies before their bodies were really ready to have babies, and they were dying in childbirth. So they kept having them start earlier so that they could have babies, but they were killing them off earlier. Chris says it's the ones refighting this. Girl. They're not even refighting the Civil War. They're trying to live in the time before the Civil War. They don't want us being free. They don't want any, I'll just say, free people of color walking the streets. They want you to go out, do your job, get back in the house, and be inside by dark. And they don't want you having a whole lot of access to a whole lot of things. They're trying to bring back the black codes is what they're trying to do. They really are. And they want the women in the house broke, barefoot, and pregnant. They want people of color in their places, preferably in the fields, but we already showed them we're not doing that BS. And they want the big Daddy Warbucks type people sitting up there with their big old cigars running everything, with their nice wives at home having their legitimate children, and their madams in the saloons and the brothels taking care of their proclivities. And we don't recognize their children. Pebble says you are correct. Sorry to say the new ones being victimized and discriminated against for my own. Sorry to say the new ones being victimized and discriminated against. For my own mental health, I have 3 words I have to resort to. Come, Jesus, come. I second that. Amen. And you know what? The other thing that you can hold on to is that God don't like ugly. All of the ugliness that these people are perpetrating on innocent people, they're going to have to pay for that. And if you look at them before they leave this earth, they get sick, and they are sick for quite a few months, years, days before they leave this earth. They suffer before they leave here. Look at Mr. Giuliani. Have you seen him lately? Bald, fat, with cankles. He's suffering. 47 and his cankles. Things are about to get worse for him. They're going to suffer before they leave here. I just want to live long enough to watch them suffer. But that's just me. Because God don't like ugly. And they are really being ugly. They're going to get theirs. They are going to get theirs. Roberta says, Camille, he's right. But one thing he did is that many people are waking up. So now they'll have to work for it. I'm glad they're waking up. Camille says that statement on Howard Stern should have kept him from being president, or the grab him by the that part as well. Actually, we didn't even have to go that far. They should have taken that little law out that felons can run for political office depending upon the laws of the state, and felons are able to vote. It should have been a federal thing, a national thing. He should not have been able to run for office, and he should not have been able to vote, because he is a felon, and he should not have been able to run so that he could be sentenced. They were holding off his sentencing because he was running, which is why he's not in jail now, because they were backpedaling. But if it had been one of us, we wouldn't have been able to vote. We wouldn't have been able to run. We would be under the jail. Nobody would be able to contact us. But here he is spending $18 million a weekend going from D.C. to Mar-a-Lago. But we got no money for Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. But he's spending $18 million every weekend. It's not right. It's not right. Yeah, I'm happy for Leslie. I am happy for Leslie. I hope you're smiling because I am happy for you. Roberta says, Camille, there's worse that should have kept him off. Camille says, I know those are just the most popular, well-known, disgusting statements. Girl. It's sad. We're not a communist country. So why do we have a felon leading the country? I'm just asking a question. Roberta says, Kamala may have been bad, but she would have surrounded herself with less sycophants. Yes, she would have. Yes, she would have. I believe she would have. Crystal says, in my opinion, things would have really gone differently if they didn't make Hillary the Democrat primary in the first election because Bernie had the support, in my opinion. Well, that's the problem. Bernie's not a Democrat. Bernie's an independent. And to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, there has never been an independent in the White House. Now, if Bernie had been a Democrat, they probably would have Bernie against Hillary. They might have selected Bernie just because he was a man. Hillary had an in because she was a former first lady and Secretary of State. But if you think about it, the only two times Trump won was when he was running against a woman. He's never beaten a man. So if Bernie had been a Democrat, he might have gotten the nomination and he would have beat 45, and it would have been a whole different ball game. It really would have. I agree with that because he's only beaten women because he's a liar. He lied on Hillary. If he hadn't lied on her and gotten the numbers with the early, now think about it. He doesn't want early voting, but early voting is what had him win when he was 45 because he lied against Hillary and he said that he was going to arrest her. So the early voters voted for him, and then come to find out that he didn't have a case, but they have already submitted their ballots. So he won on a lie. But now he doesn't want early voting. Roberta says, DC, even Hillary would have been better. She is a B, but at least had a brain. She had a brain. Not only did she have a brain, but she's a lawyer. He knows no law. He knows no politics. With all of her issues. She was first lady for 8 years. She was Secretary of State for 4 years. So not only was she a lawyer, but she had 12 years in D.C. plus, wasn't Clinton a senator in Arkansas? So she would have been in politics then. She was more qualified than he was, but they go for the showman. He's got a big mouth. He talks a big game, and they go for the showman. Pebble says, don't forget where the disabled community. Oh. They shouldn't have voted for him after he mocked that reporter with cerebral palsy. Berta says, I've just been late. You've been late. Oh, wait a minute. I've just been, oh, what? Lately and saying, Karma isn't a nice lady, so be careful what you wish for. That's why I try to be a good person. I just want to see what happens to all the bad people, because I'm not going out there and being bad with them. I just want to make sure they get theirs, because they've been so hateful. Camille says, I think the handbasket my mama was referring to must be located in DC. Oh my God. Crystal says, I agree, Roberta, but I am saying most Dems were ready for Bernie, and when they took it from Bernie, it caused distrust. But anything other than the orange tyrant, girl, see, I can co-sign that. I really can. I really, really can, because he's hot. Oh, we can thank SCOTUS for what we. Oh, yes, we can. I'm still in favor of term limits, because these yahoos now, they got to go. Got to go. I agree with you. He has his own billions, or so said, but then bankrupt again. I'm lost. He's earned, what is it, 3 billion since he's been in office, with all the crypto and the dinners and the silent donors and, excuse me, planes and stuff. Yeah, he's scamming. He's scamming. Camille says, and that's my issue with the Democrat Party. I just feel like they don't want to actually win. They give us can't. Yeah, that now that's a problem. That's the problem. But see, I really hate to say it, but I really don't think that this country is going to vote for a woman, at least in my lifetime, because we have too many bigoted men that will not take orders from a woman. I didn't think that they would have a female in the White House when Geraldine Ferrero was running with Walter Mondale. Then they had the lady from Alaska. I can see her face, but I can't think of her name. Was running for vice president, and I was really pleased when Biden won with Kamala as vice president. I said, oh, we're moving up into the 21st century. We're coming of age. But then the orange guy came up here lying again. And even after you tell him he's lying, everybody proves that he's lying. He still comes up and repeats the same old lie, and people believe him. I don't understand. 47 doesn't want voting, but he's easing it into acceptance. It's the frog syndrome. Let's see. I hope with the midterms, we get rid of at least half of his sycophants. I really hope so. If we get the numbers, we got to hope. And then, you know what I said? Vote Dem. Get the Dems in, get the numbers, and then we'll worry about getting out the bad Dems. But we need the numbers. Right now, we're fighting uphill with no weapons. We can't do anything. So, we're going to write about the 8 billion. We're going to write about the 8 million for the influencers, the sign-on bonuses for the Frozen crew, the bonuses, their quota bonuses for the Frozen crew, and see if they can reinstate that immigration bill that they had in 23. Yeah, in 23. The bipartisan bill. Gov and First Lady. Oh, Clinton was governor? Okay. Hillary was also a senator. Yeah, they began in politics through college. Okay. DC, that handbrake is located in DC right in the middle of the libraries. I noticed you said libraries. Pebble says, yes, ma'am. Over 3B. I thought it was illegal while in office. It I did too. I did too. And it keeps bringing to mind that Jimmy Carter sold his peanut farm because he didn't want a conflict of interest while he was in the White House. And then you've got this man selling Teslas on the White House lawn and tearing down the White House and putting up glitter in the Oval Office and just running havoc all over the place, putting marble in the bathrooms and putting marble armrests on the seats in the Kennedy Center. I am so happy people are canceling their concerts. They're like, no, I'm not, I cannot. And then we have a living person putting his name on a memorial. Roberta says, I did not know until a month ago that Obama taught constitutional law. I did not know that either. He is? He was? He was a lawyer and then a senator and then president. When did he have time to teach? I know he's written a book and he's given lectures. Do tell. Pebble says, Roberta, is true. Both Obamas are involved in law professions. Well, they're both lawyers. They met in law school, I believe. She was his tutor. Chris says, yes, Pebble, but those in charge of ethics are currently caterwauling. Kowtowing. We don't have any ethics. Camille says, Obama and Clinton's affected me personally in a positive way while they were in office. And for me, that's what it's about. What can you do for us peasants? Yeah, I mean, there's more of us, the wealthy are just 1%, remember? There's more of us than it is of them. Roberta says, remember when the worst thing from Carter was that his brother was a drunk? Now that you mention it, I do remember that. I had forgotten. Camille says, girl, I said I was going to lurk. Roberta says that all the time. Roberta says that all the time. She says, I'm going to sit in the corner and lurk. And I get about 5 topics in, and she's right in the middle of it. And I love it. I love it. I love it. She says, see? She says that all the time. And she says it over at VJ's Crochet. She comes in and she says, I'm going to lurk. See, I need you all in my life. I really do. Welcome to the Bad Lurker Club. Roberta says, then y'all get me started. See, Pebble says, oh, I remember the jokes about Bubba Beer. Okay, take us out on a joke. We got our homework. We need our funny to end on. Okay, Pebbles, it's on you. Take us home, and everybody be safe and have a great evening. And she didn't know I was going to tell her to go ahead and tell us. And I don't know about Bubba Beer, so I'm really going to want to see this one. Oh, it may not be fit for YT. Oh, well. Okay, who has the funny to take us out on? Roberta says, if Pebbles can't, I sent you something earlier. Yeah, you did. I saw that. That was funny. Oh, Carter's brother was selling. You all have a warm night, too. Thank you, Chris. Camille's waving. Carter's brother was selling. Well, while she's doing that, I will play Roberta's ditty. If I can get it to blow up. Oh, mercy. Finally got it to work. Okay. Now, nobody drink anything.
They said you couldn't do it. They said you didn't have the discipline to reach the top. But today is the day we prove them all wrong. We rise, we grind, and we become legend. Actually, I just realized I'm wearing two different socks, and I'm kind of hungry. So we'll become legends tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday. Listen up, Buttercup. They said you couldn't do it. They said you didn't have the discipline to reach the top. But today is the day we prove them all wrong. We rise, we grind, and we become legend. Actually, I just realized I'm wearing two different socks, and I'm kind of hungry. So we'll become legends tomorrow. Maybe Tuesday.
I worked with a lady who always wore two different socks, and not this past July, but the July before, my oldest granddaughter wore two different socks. Ah. Pebble says, wow, Google showed a bubble brewing company in Arkansas. Well, that's where they were from. Thank you for that, Roberta. Oh, you miss your ducks? Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening. And those who can make it, I will see you tomorrow over at BJ's Crochet. Roberta, Camille says they were never in a row. They started out in a row and then they shifted. Roberta says, me? I'm lucky if I have socks. Bye bye.